I've been in love with my best friend for 15 years, and he has absolutely no idea. Technically, I met him when I was 6 and he was 7, which means I've spent over 2/3 of my life pretending my heart doesn't sprint every time he says my name. His name is Jamie. He used to live in the house opposite mine, the one with the peeling blue door and the front garden that tried to grow roses and mostly produced thorns. Our mums became friends first, trading casseroles and gossip. And then they forced us together one summer afternoon like two reluctant puppies. He was sitting on a curb, knees scuffed, trying to fix a broken toy car by hitting it against the pavement. I remember thinking he looked like someone who'd climb on the roof just to see if the sky felt different up there. "Go say hi, Maya," my mom nudged. "No," I whispered back. "Yes," she hissed, smiling like this was the climax of her parenting career. I walked over, arms stiff, heart pounding for absolutely no reason, and said, "You're doing it wrong." He looked up, hair in his eyes, and grinned like we'd known each other forever. "You can help then," he said, "since you're such an expert." That was it. 15 years later, he still looks at me like that, sometimes like he's been waiting for me to show up so something interesting can happen. The only problem is, I'm the only one who seems to think that means anything. We grew up in each other's pockets. Primary school, secondary, all the way up to 6th form, we were a 2-person unit. Teachers learned to say our names in one breath. Jamie and Maya, stop talking. Jamie and Maya, eyes front. Jamie and Maya, if you're finished with that, help the others. When my dad left, I was 13 and suddenly hyper-aware of silence in the house. That first night, I snuck out in my pajamas, crossed the road in bare feet, and knocked on Jamie's window. He opened it immediately, like he'd been waiting. "You okay?" he whispered. "No," I whispered back. He pulled me inside, gave me his hoodie, and we lay on the floor listening to his dodgy speakers play some playlist he'd called Not Sad at All, which, honestly, was mostly sad songs. We didn't talk much. We just existed in the same space, breathing the same air, and I decided 2 things. 1. Love is terrifying and unstable and might vanish overnight. 2. Except maybe with him. Of course, I never told him that, because as we got older, the rules changed without anyone explaining them to me. At 15, I started noticing his hands. That sounds weird, but it's true. The way he spun pens in his fingers, the way he'd shield his phone screen with his palm, the way he'd tap rhythms against desks when he was bored. I started noticing his jawline too, and the way his voice dropped a little. But I also noticed that everyone else had started noticing him as well. By 16, girls were suddenly everywhere. There was Megan from Drama Club, who laughed loudly at his jokes and accidentally brushed his arm. There was Sophie from Maths, who asked for his help revising and then posted pictures with him, captioned, "my fave study buddy," like she'd invented the concept of sitting at a library table. I hated all of them in ways I refused to examine. "You're glaring," Jamie would mutter to me, nudging my shoulder. "You know you're doing that out loud, right?" "I'm not glaring," I'd say, shoving him back. "My face just rests like that." He grinned. "Sure, May. Whatever you say." He called me May, and only he was allowed to. Everyone else called me Maya. But when he said May, it sounded like a secret, like he knew the version of me from before life started happening too fast. By the time we both turned 18, the big question descended. What are you doing after 6th form? I had no idea. My mom wanted me to stay close to home. She'd had enough of people leaving. I liked writing, people watching, and overthinking, which is not only a UCAS category. Jamie, though, had a plan. Of course he did. "Journalism," he said, sprawled across my bed one evening, tossing a stress ball up and catching it. "Sports journalism ideally. Imagine it. Traveling, interviewing players, sitting in stadiums instead of offices." I lay on my stomach next to him, staring at my half-finished personal statement on my laptop. "You just want free tickets," I said. "That too," he admitted. "But mostly, I want to tell stories that actually mean something to people. Football's just the language." He said it so simply, like you could just decide what you wanted and then go get it. Like the world wasn't full of locked doors and invisible lines you weren't supposed to cross. "Come with me," he added suddenly. I blinked. "What?" "To your interview. To uni," he said. "Look, They do English lit and creative writing at the same uni I want. You're always writing stuff. Just make it official. We'll go together. It'll be sick. My heart did the thing where it somersaulted, then tripped on its own feet. Jamie, I said slowly, you realize uni isn't like going Nando's. You don't just come with me. Why not? He shrugged. We've done everything together so far. Might as well keep going. I stared at the course description on my screen. You think I'm good enough? I asked, quieter than I meant to. He turned on his side to look at me properly. May, he said, serious now. You're the only person I know who finishes a book in a day and then writes an angry essay about it in your notes app. You're good enough. You're just scared. I hated that he was right. I loved that he was right. Fine, I muttered. I'll think about it. But that night, when I lay in bed staring at my cracked ceiling, I let myself imagine it. Not just uni, but uni with him. A whole new city. Shared buses, shared takeaways, shared everything. Maybe, once we weren't just the neighbor kids anymore, I could actually say it. The thing that had been living in my chest like a second heart. I fell asleep making bargains with myself. If we get into the same uni, I'll tell him. If we end up living close together, I'll tell him. If we have one perfect moment, and he looks at me like I'm the only person in the world, I'll tell him. Spoiler, I am very, very good at moving goalposts. We both got in. Same uni, different courses, same campus. On results day, he found me outside the exam hall, exam papers long forgotten, eyes wide. May, you did it? He demanded. I nodded, shell-shocked, waving the email on my phone. Yeah, I got in. He grabbed me, lifting me off the ground in a hug that was way too tight and way too long to be legal in platonic best friend law. I wrapped my arms round his neck and pretended my heart wasn't writing wedding vows without my consent. We're going to uni together, he said into my hair. Holy, this is mad. I wanted to say, we're going to start our lives together, Instead I said, don't drop me, idiot. He didn't, not then. But if this were a simple love story, I wouldn't be telling it in 3 parts. Because the first twist came 2 weeks before we moved out. Her name was Lily. I met her properly at a barbecue in Jamie's garden. She was in his media class. Apparently, I'd heard her name in passing, but never clocked it as anything important. That day, she turned up in a blue sundress that made her look like the human embodiment of a Pinterest board. I was carrying a tray of drinks out from the kitchen when I heard Jamie's laugh as I'm trying to impress someone laugh, higher and more manic than usual. I turned, balancing the tray. And there she was, sitting beside him on the patchy lawn, her legs stretched out, her hand on his arm like it belonged there. And you're Maya, right? She asked when Jamie dragged me over. He talks about you all the time. I hated that. My first thought was, what does he say? Hopefully good things. I said with a tight smile. Annoying things, Jamie chimed in. But yeah, sometimes good, I guess. Everyone laughed, including me. My chest didn't get the memo. Lily was objectively lovely, smart, funny, interested in everything. The type of girl who seemed to already be living the life you were still building Pinterest boards for. She was going to study marketing and media at the same uni as us, because of course she was. She slid into our circle like she'd been there all along. At the end of the night, when most people had gone and fairy lights flickered over beer bottles and plastic cups, I watched from the kitchen window as she hugged Jamie goodbye. It was a long hug, longer than ours earlier. His hands rested lightly on her waist. When she pulled back, she said something that made him smile in this quiet, soft way I'd never seen before. Something shifted then. The axis tilted. Later, when he flopped onto my sofa, smelling like smoke and summer, I tried to sound casual. So, I said, picking at a loose thread on my jeans, you and Lily seem close. He shrugged, a smile tugging at his lips. She's cool. We've been chatting loads lately. Yeah, I said, hoping my voice didn't sound brittle. You were practically surgically attached. He glanced at me. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. I forced a laugh. Just didn't think you liked clingy girls. She's not clingy, he said, more defensive than necessary. We just get on. You'd like her if you stopped overanalyzing. Wow, I said, stung. Thanks for the psychological assessment. He sighed, rubbing his forehead. I didn't. Look, May, I can have other friends. You don't have a monopoly. I swallowed down about 17 different responses. I know that, I said quietly. I just hope you remember the ones who were here before she showed up with her perfect hair and her coordinated outfit. He stared at me for a second. Then he laughed, the tension breaking. You're ridiculous, he said, poking my forehead. And her hair's not that perfect. But a week later, when he changed his phone lock screen from a stupid meme we'd taken at the arcade to a photo of Lily laughing at something out of frame, I realized he was already a little bit gone. And just like that, all my if this happens, I'll tell him deadlines got pushed back again. Maybe uni would fix it. Maybe distance would. Maybe I'd grow out of this stupid childhood crush. I told myself all of that as I packed my life into boxes. I didn't mean any of it. Uni was loud. Freshers week was a blur of sticky floors, free pens, and people introducing themselves like they were speedrunning their identities. Hi, I'm Tom. I'm from Birmingham. I do accounting. I hate olives. Hi, I'm Nia. I'm from Cardiff. Politics. I'm vegan. Hi, I'm Maya. From Londonish. English and creative writing. And I have been in love with my best friend since I was 6, but I've told absolutely nobody, not even myself, properly. Okay, I didn't say the last part out loud, but it hummed under everything like background radiation. Jamie's accommodation was a 10-minute walk from mine, which sounded manageable in theory and felt like another planet in practice. The first week, we tried to act like nothing had changed. We met up for meals, explored campus, got lost, and pretended it was on purpose. But there was a third orbit now. Lily. She lived in a different block, but might as well have had a teleportation device for how easily she appeared everywhere. She joined the same societies as Jamie, laughed at the same jokes, claimed the seat next to him in lectures. Sometimes she'd link her arm through mine too, leaning in to tell me something about some guy she'd met the night before, but I always felt like an add-on. The free side salad to their main course. One night, a couple weeks in, I walked into the campus bar and stopped dead. Jamie and Lily were at a table by the window, heads bent together, fingers intertwined around a single drink. The whole scene looked like a stock photo titled * Young Love in Autumn *. My chest clenched. Earth to Maya, someone said behind me. I turned to see a guy from my course. Adam? No. Aiden with the eyebrow piercing and the messy black hair that always looked like he'd just woken up. Oh hey, I said, trying to range my face into something approximate to normal and not dying inside. You alright? He asked. You look like you just watched your favorite TV show kill off the main character. Just, long day. I lied. Too many icebreakers. If one more person asks me one fun fact, I'm going to start making them up. He laughed. You mean that thing about you once winning a hot dog eating contest wasn't true? That one's sacred, I said. That was real. He grinned. Come sit with us. We're playing stupid card games and avoiding thinking about our reading lists. He pointed across the room where a group from our course waved. I glanced back at Jamie and Lily. He still hadn't seen me. She was saying something, lips close to his ear. He smelled like the world had narrowed down to just them. Something inside me went very still. Yeah, I said to Aiden. Yeah, okay. Aiden ended up being important, though not in the way I expected. He was the first guy, other than Jamie, who made me forget to check my phone every 5 minutes to see if I'd missed a message. He was sarcastic in a way that didn't feel mean, smart in a way that didn't feel condescending. He saw through people quickly, which made me both nervous and fascinated. We'd stay after seminars, arguing about whether an author meant what people said they meant, or if everyone was just projecting their own issues. You don't buy into soulmates, do you? He asked one afternoon as we walked back from a lecture, autumn wind whipping leaves round our feet. The question caught me off guard. What? In class? He said. You went very quiet when that girl started talking about two hearts destined to find each other, all that. Thought you might be a secret hopeless romantic. I'm not hopeless, I said automatically. I'm selectively romantic. He raised an eyebrow. What does that mean? It means I think most people are messy and complicated and don't magically fit together, I said. But sometimes you meet someone when you're small, and they get into your wiring before you even know what you're becoming. And after that, it's hard to replace them with anyone else. It was the most honest I'd been with anyone that semester. It was also a terrible idea. Aiden said. Sounds like there's a specific someone. I shoved my hands in my pockets. Mind your business, therapist. He laughed, but gently, just saying. It sounds like a dangerous way to live, putting all your emotional eggs in one childhood friend's to lover's basket. I never said lovers, I muttered. You don't have to, he replied. I didn't ask what that meant. I was scared he was right. The official status update came in November, in the form of a text from Jamie that started with, greater than bro, which was never a good sign. Bro greater than you up? I rolled my eyes. It's 9 p.m., not 3 a.m. Yes, I'm up. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Greater than. So, I'm kinda seeing Lily now. My stomach dropped, even though I'd been bracing for this for weeks. I stared at the screen until my vision blurred. Then I typed, greater than. Kinda. We made it official yesterday, don't be weird about it. There it was. 15 years of quiet, unspoken, brewing hope meeting 3 casual lines of text. My first impulse was to reply, I've been in love with you since I was 6, so, yeah, I might be a little weird about it, My second was to throw my phone into the nearest river. Instead, I took a breath, swallowed the sudden, inexplicable lump in my throat, and typed, I'm not weird, congratulations. I'm happy for you, a lie and a truth, tangled together. He replied with a string of emojis and something about us all going out together soon. I put my phone face down and pressed my palms against my eyes until stars burst behind them. When my flatmate, Jess, walked in a few minutes later, she found me lying on the floor with my headphones on, listening to a playlist called Absolutely Fine Lies. You okay? She asked, chewing a cereal bar. Yep, I said. Sure, yep. She stared at me for a second, then said, You want tea and gossip or solitude and denial? I considered. Both? She laughed and dropped down beside me. All right, talk. I'll decide if it's a tea situation or a tequila situation. It took me 10 minutes to work up to it. I've known him since I was 6, I said finally. And by the time I realized it wasn't just whatever, it felt too late. Like the feeling had grown too big to fit back through my mouth. Did you ever tell him? She asked. No, I said. And now he's with her, Jess hummed. Well, that's inconvenient of him. Very, I muttered. She nudged me with her foot. For what it's worth, you're allowed to be sad about it, even if you technically never dated. Grief doesn't do paperwork. I blinked at the ceiling. Yeah, I said slowly. I guess. Also, she continued, you're 21. You've got time to fall in love with like 5 more people and dramatically misinterpret all your feelings before you turn 30. I snorted despite myself. That's supposed to be comforting. Yes, she said. Look, crushes are like practice paintings. You learn your colors, your favorite shapes to draw, but they're not the final piece. Maybe this one taught you how intense you can feel. Now you get to decide what to do with that. I stared at her. When did you become wise? I watched a lot of TED Talks during lockdown, she said. Anyway, Aiden from your course is hot. Maybe shift your tragic heroine arc over there for a bit. I groaned. No. That would be reboundy. You haven't even bounded, she pointed out. You've just sat still in one place emotionally for years. I hated that everyone was right all the time.